ice portion today. We're going to roll on into some black-red Aristocrats. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out today. So, what I'm about to say will be good for some people and bad for some others, depending on what you like out of my content. So, on August 17th is the next MCQ. So, my plan for every day that I'm streaming between now and the MCQ is that I'm going to be taking 2 deck lists out of the standard deck queue, and then the third deck, the last deck I do each day, is going to be either Naya Feather, Yarok Field, or Black-Red Aristocrats, because those are the 3 decks that I'm between for the Mythic Championship qualifier on Arena. So moving forward between now and the 17th, we'll be wrapping with one of those 3 decks each of those days. So, I don't think anyone will have too much of a problem with that. All 3 of those decks are pretty popular. There's a lot of people that like them. Also, if you're someone who enjoys the Yarok Field deck, a full primer for that deck will be going up on Cool Stuff Inc. later this week. Alright, anywho, Black-Red Aristocrats, for people who aren't familiar, that might be newer to the streamer standard. Aristocrats in Magic is jargon that refers to a deck that sacrifices its own creatures in order to gain some kind of advantage. So in Standard, the cornerstone of the Aristocrats decks is this Priest of the Forgotten Gods card. Sacrifice 2 other creatures. Any number of target player sacrifices a creature, loses 2 life, then you get mana and draw a card. This deck also has things like Bontu to sacrifice stuff for profit. It has Mask of Immolation to sacrifice stuff. And then we have Mayhem Devil, which pays us off for sacrificing things. And Chandra, which gives us bodies to sacrifice that also sacrifice on its own. So this has definitely been like my go-to aggressive deck in the format. I actually played an iteration of this in the last MCQ, and I was pretty happy with that, so wouldn't be too sad to run this back. Let's dive on into some match with this one and see how we do today. I think I'm pretty happy with the Mask. I know Mask on a raw power level isn't particularly high, but it allows for some blowout board states that you wouldn't otherwise have, and in the matchups where it's really not good, you can just sideboard it out. This deck is also 100% foil, which is a leg up in my mind. So that's a point in its favor. Dreadhorde Butcher is super awkward on the draw. This is the last deck. I may or may not do one more today. A couple of the decks we played ended up being real stinkers, so I don't know. We'll see. I plan to play this for at least an hour and a half, so we'll see how I'm feeling after 9 hours. Are there any weak spots in this archetype you're trying to shore up? I don't think so. I think you've got pretty reasonable matchups against a lot of the good things in the format. I think we should choose the MCQ deck based on it being all foil. I mean, that's not completely unreasonable, to be fair. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the MCQ on a delay this time. I didn't stream the last one, but I think this time I'm gonna take the time to do it. Probably just on a delay. If this is a Nissa here, we're probably dead. I would just for you, sure. Yeah, the MCQ is it's an arena MCQ. You qualify through arena and play on arena. I'm gonna do this turn because this way if I draw a land next turn, I can sacrifice these 2 elementals to draw extra cards with Bontu. If I do another deck today, I'll probably just pull it out of the queue. Or they just not have any other payoffs? That's good for us. So, the Arena Installer does not work through Lutris anymore. But if you manually download the MSI installer, that Wizards of the Coast had posted, that works through Wine/Lutris. So I'm not familiar with Lutris, so I'm not sure if they're like gonna update their thing at some point to make it work. But as of right now, it definitely does not work by default. But I actually did the update from last week this morning using the MSI installers that they have posted, and it worked fine.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
We have I'm gonna have like a 4/4 Crisis here. Why would we shock in our last land? Yeah, 4/4 Crisis sounds good.
Say hi to my fiery friends.
Want me to phase you out of time?
So now I kind of have a decision to make. I can equip the mask and kill the Teferi, but I think that's like not particularly useful at this point. I think I'm just gonna play this, and like draw 4 cards. Seems good. Yeah, Chandra really felt like she filled in a lot of missing holes that this deck had. Like, it felt really close, and then she just, like, showed up and just synergizes with so many of our different little cards. This is a good game where, like, showing how Mask is, like, pretty reasonable. Like, the Mask token traded with their Paradise Druid, and then it drew a card. Any specific tips for using Linux? No, not really. Especially desktop Linux today is just about as user-friendly as any other modern operating system if you're using a desktop-focused distribution. They're so cute. Yeah, Trader Gator's got Menace, which is great.
Time for plan B.
All right, so
Now what?
we're just doing this. And this sacrifices, send one upstairs. I think I want to get rid of the Hydra increases there. Yeah, and to think, like, this isn't even one of our nut draws, right? Like, our best possible draws involve Priests of the Forgotten Gods going unchecked. And beyond disbelief that they reprinted Forked Bolt with Upside. Oh, Diagonal Goblin. Would you like to bounce my God-Eternal? Read. The second Chandra, the Planeswalker rule does not count as sacrificing. So this comes into play. This triggers. Chandra trigger happens. Mayhem Devil trigger kills Teferi. For Smith, thank you for the 2/3 of your support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. If Chandra's Regulator allowed us to discard anything, I think it would probably be good enough. But the fact that it only discards mountains and red cards, I think makes it a little bit too narrow. Oh, they didn't even let me play the second Chandra, chat. Come back, opponent. Come back. Don't you wanna be friends? Alright, so I definitely want Noxious Grasp here. I think this is a little bit slow in these ramp matchups. Mask versus Lava Coil could go either way. You'd probably just trim one Mask. I think this is fine. Core of our deck's pretty reasonable here. I don't think they quite have enough life gain to make Tibalt worthwhile. You want Fry? I don't think Fry is good enough. The mana in that deck is really ambitious, Big Show. When it casts all of its spells on curve, it's probably fine. But like, playing 8 black 1-drops and a red 3-drop on 21 lands is like really greedy and awkward. I also like the catch-up mechanic that Bontu offers when you flood a little bit. There's a lot of situations where like you also like really want to hit your first 3 to 4 land drops with this deck, and then Bontu is a thing that lets you not get punished for flooding off. Yeah, Bontu not only just kills directly with Mayhem Devil, but the fact that it's just Menace is also very good. Yes, it's pretty great. 1, 2, 3. It's just elementary. What could it be?
Oh, they're so cute.
No, I think Diagonal Goblin's pretty important in this matchup, especially when it combines with Mayhem Devil. Fanatical Firebrand often like teams up with other things to turn into removal. Yeah, I can see Carnival Carnage being okay. That's a sweet card. You'd also just play like the 4th Shock and the 4th Lightning Strike also. Like those are both fine decisions. You want to see would you like to see us end someone's entire career, chat? Would you like to see this tiny goblin end our opponent's entire career? I feel happy do 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 do. Yeah, the build your own fork bolt is real busted. Yeah, this is, for people not familiar, this is Diagonal Goblin. If you look at him, he's kind of sideways in the picture. All right, we're flooding out here a little bit, but, you know, again, like, this is a board state where, like, well, Bontu's our best draw, right? Yes, he's very often sideways on the board as well. Agree. Aether Gust. Is Mayhem Devil better than our average draw? It probably is, right? Yeah, building this as a Judith deck in Brawl sounds sweet. There's probably enough sweet one-ofs. Like, there's a lot of different cards that go into this archetype. There's something incredibly therapeutic about just like having a solid aggressive curve, just like, and run you down. King Canuck, thank you for re-upping that Prime support for the 2nd month. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This against Scapeshift, yeah, exactly, Greg. Also, Mayhem Devil is whenever either player sacrifices a land. So if you have Mayhem Devil out and they Scapeshift, you get to hit them for 1 for every land they sacrifice. Helps give you that last burst of reach in that matchup really elegantly. I think this is a mulligan, right? Like, I don't have, like, no play on 2, triple Chandra is a little awkward. Like, the only reason it's a consideration, the only thing to still consider as a consideration is like, my mana's good. This hand's much better. Oh, I'm still on the Tempo Storm Twitch team. Yeah, I can sort that out later. Well, it's probably just a free viewer bump because it means people on their team randomly host me. So maybe I'll just leave the team affiliation there on Twitch until they kick me out because it gives me free viewers. Looks like Jun Dinos. Yeah, as of August, I'm no longer partnered with Tempo Storm. They needed to adjust my contract again, and the rate that it needed to be adjusted to didn't make sense to stay on with them anymore, unfortunately. Scale of 1 to dead. I assume one of these is about to eat it. Wow. Okay, sweet. Alright, well, if they don't have removal, they're gonna be dead next turn. You know, maybe I'm supposed to offer this trade. Yeah, I think that's the case. I think I was supposed to offer that trade. No, it's pro blue. Yeah, I think I messed this up. This could have been bigger at the very least, which is a big deal too. It's a lot of lands. All right. I don't think it really mattered. You know, Bontu like this turn.
Hey, don't start any fires without me. Study, focus.
Yeah, we need, I'm gonna give like one more turn to draw Bontu here. Because if we draw Bontu, he stabilizes the board and gasses up a little bit. Hey, Carlos, thanks for the 7 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, Collision Colossus for lethal. Nope, not quite yet. Yeah, Knight is a really good card. It's a card that, like, scales well into the mid to late game. Especially, for, like, as far as 1-drops are concerned. We give our opponent a card by blocking Raptor, because the other 2 creatures had trample. Nice lethal, thanks for the Bitfohawk. Yeah, they had a pretty aggressive start. They had the removal for the priest, and we just didn't have too many spells that game. To bring in a bunch of removal that's a little bit more efficient against what they have going on. Do I want to trim shock? I think Lightning Strike's a little bit better because it kills their 2 toughness dino, which is their 2-drop dino, their 2/3. Don't want too much interaction. This is 8, 9, 10 pieces of removal already, so I think that's fine. I want to leave in my max Chandras because Chandra allows me to flash back my removal spells and use them a second time around. Yeah, the Gen Dinos deck is very good. Gets very aggressive very quickly. Runs down blockers like so things like Collision Colossus and random things that give haste. Galta's a heck of a card. We cut Judith because it just felt worse than the other 3-drops player. This is an aggressive deck at the core, so like playing more than 8 3-drops comes at a very real cost. And the more games I played, the more I felt like Chandra and Mayhem Devil were just like the better cards. They're gonna play a 2/3 next turn, which is a little gross. Hoping to draw a removal spell that can kill it. Fortunately, Noxious Grasp does not do that. Mayhem Devil. Yeah, I guess. I think I'm supposed to offer this trade. Yeah, Judith also notably doesn't really synergize with Chandra, because she doesn't trigger when tokens die. Keeping their board clear makes their Domri's ambushes worse. Love to draw a red source here. Yeah, Mayhem Devil doubles the tokens damage as well, though. And has more synergy with other things in our deck. Mayhem Devil also survives 2 damage sweepers, which is really nice. Giving them +1 attack is like worse than some of the other things we could otherwise be doing. If their play next turn is just like a 4-drop green creature, Noxious Grasp probably means this game is over. This game is playing out just very similarly to the last one, only in our favor. Are they just dead this turn? Yeah, this is lethal, right?
You guys are great. I'm happy as a hell.
Yeah, make 2 more, hit them for 7, 4 triggers, and end step kill them. Think I'm happy with how I sideboarded. Maybe I want these shocks on the draw. It's very possible that I'm more interested in shock on the draw. Because they have this can notably kill things like the Ceratops after Ceradon, whatever it's called, after it takes 2 damage from the smaller dino. They also have a 1/1, the 1/1 2-mana dino ramp creature. Where's the name Aristocrats comes from? It comes from the cards Falcon Wrath and Cartel Aristocrats. From the original Innistrad, where those cards were played. Oh, you know what? I should get these Dreadhorde Butchers on the draw. That's where my sideboarding should be. These should not be in my deck, and I should have the extra shocks and the Grim Innates. That's what that should be. No, the legend rule, unfortunately, is not a sacrificed. Why board out Butcher on the draw? Because my opponent is more likely to have a creature that can block it before it can connect when I'm on the draw versus when I'm on the play. So, for example, when I'm on the play, this gets to hit and become a 2/2 before they play 2/3s out or 1/1s. Whereas when I'm on the draw, I'm pretty unlikely to be able to get a hit in with it. Although this game, their hand's pretty slow, so that's nice. No play on 2 could also mean no play on 3. They don't have a lot of 3 drop downs. They have like Brontodon. They also have like Lava Coil here, I suppose. Well, this is opponent's draw is thoroughly below average here, so these Butchers are getting a little bit of a chance to shine even on the draw, which is nice. Good for us. They have like a Ripjaw Raptor next turn. We could be in a little bit of trouble. I assume they're gonna have some kind of scary... What is in their hand? I'm so confused. Alright, well, I'm gonna play Chandra here. If I hadn't drawn the Bontu... I would play the other Dreadhorde Butcher. But because I drew the Bontu, I want to draw max cards in the Bontu next turn. Just in case they find a way to stabilize the rest of what's going on here. Man, I have no idea what my opponent kept. You have like a bunch of Gultas and Collision Colossuses, or like what's the deal?
Say hi to my fiery friends.
Chat, Bontu doesn't deal damage without a Mayhem Devil in play. Lethal is lethal does. Rude. 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 That's fine. This is very menacing. I'm glad we didn't get into that. That answers the what have they been holding in their hand question very nicely, right? That answers the what they kept question. Look at that. Finally moved up a rank. Weird. We started playing the good deck and we moved up a rank. Strange how that works. Are you implying your Harrock memes isn't good because it's good for your soul, Jeff? Yeah, nothing like the soul food. Keep. Maybe we'll finally have a priest game today. We've not gotten to pop off with priest yet. Golgari Guildgate. So either budget mana or some kind of Field of the Dead deck. Gen Con was a lot of fun. I have some of my list of some of my favorites from the weekend there. Rude. Opponent trying to interact with me. What kind of game do you think this is? Interacting with me.
It's better than having plan. Go get him, buddies.
Thunk, thunk, thunk. So we'll do this, and then I can play this, and I can equip this to here, because this one's going to die at end of turn anyways. Then we can use this one to kill it here. Because this one doesn't go away at end of turn, because it was made by the mask. Only the Chandra elementals go away at end of turn. So we're looking for a Mayhem Devil or a Bontu. Priest could be okay, perhaps. Another land, not too hot.
Oh, they're so cute.
I think it's this one. I'm not quite sure if how I'm supposed to tell which elemental is Chandra's and which one isn't. I think both the Chandra ones were on the left. All right, look, we figured it out. All right, ones with haste. Oh, good call, good call. All right, so this is gonna make them 2 zombies. Alright, yep.
Hey, these little guys are great.
How many cards do we want, chat? 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm bidding this too. 5. I'm gonna bid at least 1 land. Am I bidding the Firebrand too? I mean, if I wanted to keep something in terms of reach, I think it's probably correct to keep the mask more than anything, huh? Well, that's gross. I guess I should have sacrificed more lands, huh, chat? I guess we're gonna board some Chandras out in this matchup. Hey, thanks for 11 months, Mikey. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. I can't activate Chandra, chat. I know it's been a hot second since we've seen this one. Where do we go from here? I think it's like Mayhem Devil into Bontu. It's not a good scene though, regardless. Yeah, it could just be that, like, we want to bank on I'm supposed to throw this away so I could redraw it. Sure.
Training is so hard.
We have 1 mask left in our deck. Yeah, sacking the mask might have been wrong. That's a lot of zombie friends. It doesn't matter though, right? I block 2, I take 12. Now even if this is a Bontu, I'm still just dead next turn, right? Alright, hey, look, a distraction.
Chandra, you need more control. Just let me burn.
You're making a lot of zombies there. Yeah, this style of Field of the Dead matchup is almost certainly worse for us than the traditional Bant Scapeshift deck that I've seen a number of people play against. Yeah, the fact that they had the Immortal Sun there too, like I think we would have pulled it out with Chandra if they hadn't had an Immortal Sun, which is not really a card people are playing. You know, like I'm not cutting like how many I'm not sure how many Immortal Suns that they have, and this is one of those good reminders of that. Like when I'm thinking about like playing this deck in. When I'm thinking about like playing this deck in the Mythic Championship qualifier, like the result of how my deck feels against this random brew that happened to hose us with the main deck Immortal Sun, like that's not really gonna weigh into my consideration of like whether or not I play this deck and what feels good or bad about it, right? Like your random brew is gonna lose to other random brews, and you shouldn't make changes to make those matchups better because you're probably never gonna play them again. Hey, Marty, hope you had a good stream. Yeah, exactly. Blue-white Flyers versus green red plummet from earlier. It's a great example of something similar. Go ahead and drop my Grim here. No, I don't even think that's strictly true, Tubto. I think in that specific situation, Immortal Sun looked okay in the situation where I, like, drew 7 cards and 5 of them were lands. Like, I think there, sure, it looked okay. But I think in general, saying we care about the Immortal Sun is probably not true. Hey, CK Lau, thank you for the 16 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Golden Demise. Well, I mean, at least it's not Krya the whatever. That's kind of sweet. It's a one-sided sweeper for the mirror style match. I think we're probably dead, right? Feels like it. Yep. Like I said, my opponent's deck's not something I've ever played against. It's probably something I'll never play against again unless there's an incredibly small number of people playing on the ladder and we queue into exactly them again, so really not worried about it. Especially in a game where we draw 7 cards and have 4 of them be lands, and then we, like, miss our 3rd land drop till turn 5. Yeah, like, we could probably beat the Massacre Girl there if we had, like, drawn a 3rd land, but it's not something that happened, fortunately. Yeah, Massacre Girl's pretty bad in the format in general, but she's good against, like, what our deck's doing. Like, the one archetype she was, like, okay against, like, White Weenie, and that deck's mostly fallen out. I guess if you have like another X, if you have like an X1 you can play with her, she's okay at killing opposing zombie armies and scape shifts. Can see that being a thing. That's fair. She's probably good against the Paradise Druid decks. I'd believe that. Looks like some kind of pseudo mirror here. We'll play this, which lets us sacrifice this and deal 2. Yeah, that's, huh.
I'm happy as a hellion to start some fires. Fire spreads fast, with help.
I think that's what I'm supposed to do. Couldn't you kill the devil by making tokens and equipping? One equipping costs 2, so no.
Say hi to my fiery friends.
Oh, I'm so dumb. Yeah. I had to wait till end of turn to do that. It's whatever. Yeah, I don't get to play it. I don't think any of my lines let me play priest that turn. Right? I don't think so. I think the priest doesn't get played that turn regardless. Yeah, none of our good lines let us get priest down safely. Rick's mad. He's been really awkward for our opponent here. Reminded me some of the reasons why we ended up cutting that card ultimately. Okay.
Don't worry, I brought company.
Get a little grind going here. I think I want to kill the Firebrand here with the second one. Which they're just going to make that exchange for me. Just taking the Firebrand off the table is important because it means that if they draw another Firebrand next turn, they can't kill Priest with it. Alright, who's ready for some fireworks? Opponent's playing the same cards we are. They understand how this works. I'm cutting the Butchers. I think I'd rather have Tibalt as, like, extra filler. That seems fine. They auditioned for the same play. It's a good way to put it. Hate when my opponents don't let me do the thing. I mean, someone who's like trying to play games to like play as many as possible, I don't mind too much a lot of the time. Just like, let me, especially when I'm playing a deck like this where I've played a bunch and gotten to do the thing a bunch. I think I just play Grim Innate on one here, because it's really good if they have Dreadhorde Butcher on two. This is my 1-1. It is first strike. Your move, Yugi boy. Scale of 1 to dead. Where's my pre-stat here? It's like the dead side of the scale. Alright, so do I Cruelty this, or do I Mask plus Firebrand this? I kind of feel like I want to Mask plus Firebrand it just to get, like, the Mask into play. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pass back here, too. Because I can kill this in response to, Yeah, Cruelty exiles things as well. I don't know, I felt like once upon a time we really needed Gutter Bones in order to... Once upon a time we really needed Gutter Bones in order to have a sustained flow of bodies. But with Chandra Acolyte of Flame, we just really don't have that problem anymore. So I kinda feel like I don't need Gutter Bones anymore. We do have borderless Gutter Bones, actually. That is something that exists. We have Glitter Bones, remember? The issue is that, like, also past that, we only have 10 black sources that are untapped on turn 1. So our likelihood to cast a turn 1 Gutter Bones is much lower than our likelihood to cast a turn 1 Grim Innate. Yeah, Chandra is very good at what she does. She really ties the room together. Adding in the lightning strikes and shocks, so that way adding the lightning strikes and shocks in order to get full value out of her -2/2 is like the last thing we really needed to do. And I assume they'll hold this back to protect their Chandra. It's not quite exactly a full mirror match. They have Bloodfell Caves. They played something else we weren't playing too, I think. It's a shame we don't have a land to play one of these and finish this off. Oh yeah, they played Rick's Maddie, that was it. It's a card we've played in the past, but it's one we've been off of for a little bit now. I think the life gain land is fine. The mana base in this deck is a lot worse than it looks on the surface. No, this is an aggro deck. You know what the best way to beat your opponent's face in? Just like kill them around their creature. Stop trying to be a control deck. You're not a control deck. Lightning Strike kills your opponent. It's very good. It is the correct card. You feel like you need better removal in certain matchups, play removal spells in the sideboard. This deck would love a red-black temple. Alright, well, we're stabilizing at 5, which means they're going to draw Bontu and then kill us in 2 turns, but it is what it is. Alright. No, the fixing is more valuable than the scrying, for reference. When I talk about the temples being good. I think I'm supposed to leave one of these back, because otherwise I die to Dreadhorde Butcher. It also hedges this a little bit, which is nice. Mask plus Glitter Bones is kind of sweet. Gutter Bones. It's really, by sweet, I mean that's a really expensive loop. What is it? It's 1 to play, 2 to return, 2 to equip. Alright, now my Firebrand can sacrifice regardless of whether or not he's tapped or untapped. The purest of upgrades. Yeah, we're a little short on lands on our side, but our opponent's also flooded a good bit, right? Like, they've got 8 lands in play now. Hey, did you draw a removal spell? Yep. The last patch added the Lava Coil animation. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'm supposed to, like, let that happen and then untap and Lava Coil it. If they brick, they're dead next turn, right? They go attack for 2, shoot, shoot, shoot. Yeah, they're dead on board. Is that? It's a long, awkward game. I had lethal. If I lightning strike their dome, they go to 6, and then I could lava coil. I think I was 1 short, because they were at 6 Burper. I think we were 1 short. I think they were at 6. You have to go back and check the tape now because I'm doubting it. I'm doubting myself, but I thought they were at 6. Deal Reno. 1, 2, 3. It's just curve of entry. What could it be? Sackthie, I missed you on YouTube for the last couple days. Stopping by to drop in my sub. Thanks for the 8 months of support. I really appreciate it. Maybe back to our normal volume of 6+ hours a day of YouTube stuff starting today. Conquistador, yep. This is a matchup where Dreadhorde Butcher is very bad. Yeah, X1 with first strike is pretty A-okay here.
Won't lie, I'm a pretty great opponent. Say hi to my fiery friends.
Yeah, it's weird that they have all the mastery levels, but they don't have foil cards. I guess they're into their cat upgrades more than they are other things.
Say hi to my fiery friends.
Just like keep them off of the ability to flip this Legion's Landing. No, I don't. You can't have a cat with wings already without having spent money on stuff. Their cat has wings already. Because I play a lot, and I think I bought like 10 extra levels, and I still don't. I still don't have that that high. Yeah, red-black's going all right so far. This is the new Planeswalker. Is it Yangling or something like that? She's unplayable because Teferi's in the format. I feel like there's a small chance we can steal this if they get too aggressive with the Zidonto Vanguard.
This is not my final demise.
Making 1/1s doesn't do anything here. Unplayable because Teferi in the format is standard summed up in 7 words. It's, yeah. Yeah, getting them to pay 4, making our Knight of the Ebon Legion go up here too is good. In just 60 short weeks, he will no longer be legal. Do you want to go to 7? Going to 7 seems real loose here, unless they have like a Sorin or an Othakaya to gain some life back. Maybe our opponent likes to live on the edge, though. I think if we ever saw 3-mana Teferi get banned in Standard, we'd see a similar line to what we saw posted when Reflector Mage was banned, which is that the play patterns it generates are really rancid, even if ultimately from a pure power level perspective, it's not that much better than everything else that's going on in the format.
Hey, go easy. I'm training here. Hey, these little guys are great.
All right, let's start with this. I assume they're just letting it die at this point. Do I want to offer the trade of my knight for their knight? I feel like that's not profitable to me at the moment. I'd rather just get this other mask down. So your knight only triggers on your end step. It doesn't care which of you lost 4 life, but it only triggers on your turn. They like want to take this Chandra off the table, but don't want to attack so much into it that they're dead on the backswing, which is kind of a delicate balance here. They have to attack with everything if they want to flip this Legion's line. They'd like to, but attacking with everything to do so is a pretty big expense when they're at 7. In the attack with just the Champion of Dusk here, I'm going to block with my Elemental and then throw 1 at their face. This is really aggressive. This is going to flip Legion's Landing, but it's going to let me keep my... It's going to let me keep my Chandra very easily. I get to go like, Knight block here, this blocks here. And then they have to pump this if they want this to get larger, which doesn't seem particularly good for them. Yeah, I feel like none of these permutations are that bad for us. I suppose these blocks ensure that my opponent gets to get a counter on this, which is nice for them. So let this resolve, then before blocks, we shoot this here. In order to get a stop down before blockers happen, I clicked on this little thing here to set a stop. So you click on the sword. Yeah, like I said, those attacks were like kind of bad for my opponent, but I feel like all their permutations of attacks didn't work out very well there. They were quite a bit behind there from the get-go. Let's play a matchup where I want Lava Coil and Nixilis Cruelty. I think I want a couple of Noxious Grasps as well. It's the matchup where I really like cutting Dreadhorde Butcher just because it's a hard time attacking it a lot of the time. Yeah, I agree. When they paid for their Adonto going down to 7, I felt like that was the point where the game started slipping away from them. They just invested a little bit too much into that. I think I'm going to trim the masks at this point. I think I always want, like, max ways to flash back with Chandra. And, like, Noxious Grasp kills a number of their things, but not enough to bring in more than 2, I don't think. Let's give this a go. Sure. Grim Innate, less good against a 1-2. This was a mulligan. I don't think I want to play Priest here. I feel like they probably have a removal spell. That's pretty unfortunate. Wish I had a second Black Source here to just, like, double slam Priest. So I kind of got to decide what I want to do now. I think I'm in a position where I just, like, have to hope they don't have a removal spell. The Stinger! Thank you for the 27 months of support. That's a long time. I appreciate you keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. All right. One mana short from getting to slam Bontu this turn too, unfortunately. And they didn't have removal last turn, but that doesn't mean they won't have removal this turn. I have two priests now though, which is great. One would fall, cashing that prime for the second month. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. And Hero Fall, Giro for us all. Thank you for the 3 months of support. I appreciate that. I think if they attack like this, I'm going like chump block, take 3. Is the plan. See what else they have here. They very clearly have another spell. We're hoping to, like, rip into a piece of removal, I think. I know, obviously, Chandra can flash back this removal spell, but if she's flashing this back, then she's not making elementals, and making elementals to feed the priest is pretty important. Holy crap, please attack my Chandra for 2. I think they're definitely both supposed to attack me. Now this puts me to 7. The difference between 6 and 7 is actually pretty important in this matchup. And the reason that difference is important is because their Sorens deal damage in increments of 3. Mayhem Devil would be a good draw. And by good, I mean absurd. Best draw in the deck. Can we wrath their board here if they Mayhem Devil? We might actually. Alright, that's a shock. So let's start by hitting this. And then let's activate Priest and see where we go from there. Gosh, they're so close to just being dead. Wait, are they dead? Are they dead? This is 2, and then this is Shock, Chandra, Flashback, Shock. Do I have enough red for that? It's 6 red, right? Yeah, they're dead. God, this deck is great. Have I mentioned how much I like this deck? I feel like I haven't mentioned how much I like this deck recently. Puppy. Right? Yeah, I haven't played a land yet. Shock you.
Chandra, you need more control.
I mean, making more elementals doesn't matter. I don't have more Priests of the Forgotten Gods. Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's play one more, and I think I'm gonna call it a day. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I usually like to end on a high note, but I feel like playing one more. So hopefully we can spike into that plateau before we wrap things up. Rude. Yeah, this is fine. Not amazing, but fine. I'd be a little greedy and keep the Bontu. If we like draw lands our first 3 draw steps, we'll be super happy to have him. Super sad I bought him to the shock here. I think it's right to bottom the shock in the dark. That being said, I think if they're playing mono blue, which is a deck that's fallen a little bit out of favor, this matchup's usually pretty good for this archetype. My opinion on Lava Coil versus Lightning Strike in the format. I think Lava Coil's the better removal spell, but I think if your deck's goal is to be aggressive, then Lightning Strike is a much better main deck card. Hey, well, I hope your recovery is quick, Bonnie. It's good to have you here. I didn't attack in with the Grim Innate because I don't want to lose it to a Tricky Dick here. See? See? Tricky Dick gets you every time. Gets you every time. This is really regretting keeping Bontu. Not only have we missed lands here, but I think I'm blocking with this to deny them a card. I'm gonna get like retorted or essence captured and be very sad. Oh, It's very possible I should have just passed the turn there and, like, lightning struck their Trickster. They counter that, and then I could untap and get something else going. If we draw a land next turn, we can go equip Mask to our 1/1 Mask, shoot the Storm Tamer, lightning strike down the Trickster. And of course, all of that assumes they don't have any kind of protection or finagling to going on. Vomit. Alright, unsummon. Unsummon probably changes the dynamic of this matchup a little bit. We've also got Duresses and stuff like that on our side too, though. So we drew a lot of clunk there. Get to trim some of this and bring in some fries and some lava coils. I think Duress is probably fine. Some amount of them anyways. Maybe I should trim a land in this matchup since I'm cutting my Bontus. You can see that. I mean, I don't know if that really had anything to do with Priest being slow so much as, like, my opponent just, like, was able to get under us. It depends on what your draw ends up looking like versus their draw, but I think a lot of the time our deck's going to fall into a controlling role in this matchup. And that was kind of an ideal mono blue draw on their part, right? Like, they had a thing, they had a Curious Obsession, and they, like, played a counterspell for every spell we cast for the remainder of the game. You know, like, when you're drawing up what the blue deck does, like, that's it. Right there, that's what you're looking to do. This hand, unfortunately, does not have one of our many 1-drops in it, but Priest into Chandra is pretty hard to pass up on the play. On the draw, I might actually consider playing Catch and Release with this, but on the play, I think this is an easy Sneaper Keeper. Your Sailor resolves opponent. Alright. God, they miss a land drop here, and we hit a land, the game is over. We could get Spell Pierced here. Alright, who's got 2 thumbs and gets blown out by Spell Pierced? This guy right here. Survey says, if they're just on Dive Down, we're gonna end their whole career. I suppose they could have another Spectral Sailor here. Oh, they could have Unsummon. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But that's fine, right? Like, Chandra's sitting in play. Maybe I'm not supposed to board out Chandra too just because she flashes back removal spells. I might cut these on the draw. That probably makes a lot of sense. I also really want a 4th land. If we hit a 4th land, we should probably be in a decent spot. If we break on a 4th land, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Unsummon is quite the beating. Previously, in previous seasons when we played this matchup, it felt really good because once Priest resolved, they were unable to take Priest off the table. But now that they're able to do that with the card they're playing in their main deck, it gets a lot harder. Hey, H-Dum, thanks for the 7 months. I agree, this deck was great, is great in the treasure event. Had a lot of people say that. Wow, just lets it happen, okay.
Oh, they're so cute.
Does this feel like... Does this feel like they're waiting on a counterspell for my priest? Who thinks they're waiting on a counterspell for my priest here? I think I'm passing. It's just like, get that out of here. Alright, I guess they weren't holding up a counterspell for the priest. The good news is we have 2 of them with Chandra now.
I brought company.
Sure, you have another Merfolk Trickster. So, like... It's like, well, they could... They can interact with one of these priests, but even one priest activation here is going to be pretty devastating for them. No blocks. Opponent, Chandra goes to 2.
Now things are getting heated.
Going and checking out some of their options here. It's a good draw. So, we're going to make elementals with Chandra. We'll play Dreadhorde Butcher, sack Dreadhorde Butcher and an elemental to priest. The Dreadhorde Butcher trigger will kill Terramander, and then the priest trigger will kill the Merfolk Trickster. And then we'll use the black mana that the priest makes to play out the other Dreadhorde Butcher and attack. Alright, so what am I doing here? I know Dreadhorde Butcher was like okay in that situation there, but I think it's what I want to get rid of. I think I want these Duresses and this Chandra, and I think I want these Obnix's Cruelties on the draw too. They had Surge Mare and Kefnet in their hand, a lot of things that are going a little bit bigger. Creature, this is only 16 creatures. That might be too low on creatures overall, cutting Bontu, Knight, and this. I think I'm going to put Knight back in just because it's an efficient beater that gets down underneath their counterspells, especially on the draw. I'm gonna cut 2 Mayhem Devils, and I guess Mayhem Devil's another creature that's getting cut, though. Do I just have too many removal spells? I might just have too many removal spells. Just trim around the edges here. They didn't have that many. Like, my Duress missed last game. Maybe I don't want this many Duress, I just want more removal spells. I could see that, especially on the draw. Alright, let's give this a try. I could cut a land on the draw. We did talk about that. I don't know. I'm adding in a lot of black cards. So, like, cutting a land when I'm doing that. Maybe I cut a basic mountain. Yeah, seems great. Alright, my Firebrand's got your number here. I think I just want to do this. Nah, I don't really want to run into Merfolk Trickster. Sure. I'm gonna unsummon here as well. Yep. Let's do this. Keep the board nice and clear. Just like, I'm not developing a board with their unsummons, but they're not developing a board either. Next turn we can play Chandra through Spell Pierce, which is really nice. I think my sequencing on my Duress this game was a little bit sloppy, but I also think it's like, probably didn't matter. It's possible I was supposed to just jam pre-stun too. I'm gonna hold on to this for now.
Chandra, you need more control. They're so cute.
Chandra plus Shock lets me kill even a 4 toughness thing here, which is really nice. I guess you could theoretically flashback Duress too, and it feels like they're kind of running on empty, huh? Wow. Yeah, running on empty sounds accurate. Yeah, to answer, someone earlier had asked, like, do we assume a more aggressor, more controlling role in this matchup? I think in the games we're being successful, we're going to be more controlling a lot of the time. This is still like the 75 we've been playing for a while. I'm pretty happy with this overall. The last change we made was adding these Lightning Strike, Shocks, and Knights, and that just really feel like it smoothed things out. We pulled the curve down overall more. It's a very elegant 1, 2, some 3s, and then the 5 top end. It was a good set. This deck generates a lot of good sets. For my regulars, like I said, a couple of announcements for my regulars. First is that my entire schedule is shifting up an hour, so I'm going to be running from approximately 7 a.m. till about 2 p.m. on most days during the week now. Today it's 4 p.m. for those that aren't good with time zones, so I'll normally be ending about 2 hours earlier than right now. I ran a little bit longer today. They get in an extra deck to make up from some missed time for Gen Con. The second is that I'm not going to be playing directly out of the deck queue for the next week and a half, because in a week and a half there's a online MCQ that I'm going to be playing in. So I'm planning to end every standard stream for the next week and a half with either Black Red Aristocrats, Yarok Field, or Naya Feather. Gonna rotate through those as I narrow them down. Today we're ending with Black Red Aristocrats. Can you explain the Grin is 2 bodies worth the slot? Yeah, basically. That's basically what it is. I think if our mana base was more black slanted, Gutter Bones might be a little bit better, but the fact that we have 9 mountains and only 6 swamps means that we more consistently cast a red card on one, which is nice. I also think that the fact that this makes an extra body without having you spend extra mana is good as well, so I've been pretty happy with this. Footlight Fiend is a card that was better when we were still playing Judith, and like, I put this card in initially as a joke because I wanted to play a 100% foil version of the deck, and as I played more with this card, I started liking this card more and more than Footlight Fiend in the absence of Judith. So like, when we were playing Judith, for instance, Footlight Fiend would be a 2-1 that would deal 2 damage when it died, so it would like trade up with 4 toughness things. But without Judith in the deck anymore, that line doesn't happen anymore, which makes the card a lot worse. At any rate, thanks everyone for watching. I'll be back with Standard tomorrow about 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. At my stream will be starting at 7 a.m. Central Time in the morning with a couple of Magic Online leagues like we always start the day with. So thanks everyone for watching. I'll catch all y'all around later. Have a good one. Remember, if you want more stuff for myself, check out my website, magicesports.net. If you want to stay here on Twitch, I'm going to find someone streaming Standard to give a host to now.